number 3. I'm
We'll
hungry.
do the habanero, and then we'll go with the worst memories that you've had in
Rick can
Airsoft.
start that one. But I'll give you a chance to get some sauce.
Yeah. This memory actually almost did see me turning my patch in.
Yeah.
It was a doozy for me. I mean, I have technically 2, but the one definitely takes the cake for me.
So this one was the worst memory, or one just like number 2 of the worst?
No. The worst of the worst, I'll tell. I'll give a quick one that's not the worst. It's the second worst. This one doesn't count. Was getting shot twice in the dick at Fallen Warrior within 5 minutes of each other. Like, I got hit. I'm kneeling over.
You're like, I got
Ow, that hurt. Oh, stood up.
But boom.
Got hit right again in the dick, and I'm like bent over, going, "What did I do to you?"
Didn't learn the first time.
Didn't learn the first time.
And just stay down.
Didn't pull out your dead rag, did you?
I know I had my dead rag on. It was dark at that point, and
Gotcha.
like BBs are flying in the dark. No, you can't see dead rags. That's why we use the lights now.
Yeah.
It didn't feel good.
That habanero's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All of these so far have been really good.
I'm sure here over will be tasty.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about over here.
It's pretty much death after that.
Yeah.
No, the Taco Vibes is good.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've never had that one with you. The other 2, yes.
Yeah. The other 2 still
It's
taste
really
good.
tasty at killing you, huh?
Yeah. You know, you die a little on the inside every day anyway.
All right. So, my worst memory was someone decided to take a vacation. First mistake.
My bad.
No, I mean, obviously you know how Steve and I feel about it, that you guys need to be taking care of yourself. And
Yeah.
that's definitely not it. But it was when we had just gotten this. We had just gotten. I almost said Hidden Valley Ranch again.
Hidden Spring Ranch.
Hidden Spring Ranch, and we were starting to do the work.
I think we're getting a new call sign for him shortly.
Ranch.
Ranch.
Instead,
I'll take it.
start calling you HVR.
Sure. They were going on vacation. Darren had made all these blueprints. Not all these blueprints. It was one blueprint to guide us on how to build. On how to build.
Literally showed like how
exactly what we needed to do.
put the boards together to make these walls we were building. And I even laid out, because I was gone for a week.
Yep.
On what days to do what. I've already got a line for people to come over and do these things while
Everything
I
was already
gone.
organized.
And
So, I'm not sure how much of it you know from the background as well, but one of our members, former members, had reached out to a couple of us about how we were going to do a surprise for you and get all these walls built and get it all down to the field and get it all assembled, because you hadn't even planned for us to get it down to the field and assembled for like another week or 2 after you got back.
yeah,
The plan was
this week after, yeah.
Yeah, the plan was to surprise you with a surprise. It's done. We can move on to something else now.
That never happened.
It never happened.
Not even close.
Not even close. So, like, again, Darren had already scheduled up a bunch of time for individual people to come out and do work on these walls. And I had come out Friday. I think it was Friday. It was after I had gotten off work, and I had already worked. It was like a 10-hour shift or something like that. I was tired, but I came out, started building walls, and got quite a few of the walls pre-built.
Yeah, I mean, they're quick.
They were.
Once you know what you're doing.
Right.
Yep.
I had gotten a bunch of them pre-built. Not all of them, but majority of them. I had quite a few of them built. I mean, there was already some built before you left, because I got there before you guys left to go on the road. You guys had gotten a couple built. And then I had built, not the rest of them, but a good portion of it. And then I left after having told the former member. Can I just say his name? Call sign? Do you want?
Yeah, you can say it's call sign.
Ghost. Ghost. I left it to Ghost and another. He's now a reservist, to kind of finish up, because they were going to go down to the field they were doing something. They were working on something. I don't know exactly what. Next day, Saturday, I'm going to show up. I was going to show up in the morning so I could get basically everything painted, finish up, make sure everything was done first of all, and then paint it with the sealant and The plan was, from Ghost, was we're going to get it all painted, and then we're going to get them onto a trailer and take it down to the field and start assembling them sometime the weekend. And I get there that morning as I'm pulling into the driveway, and for some god-awful reason, he had built a fort of the walls in the driveway. Not just a little one either. Basically used every single wall that had been built. And had
Around a vehicle.
It encapsulated another player's truck inside.
Thor.
Yeah, Thor's truck inside of it. And they had taken that part down so that they could go back to the field or whatever they were doing again. Because by the time I got there, they were gone. They weren't there when I got there for me to yell at them. They were somewhere. I'm assuming at the field. And there was a lot of cursing that day. Because I mean, like I expected to get there and they were going to be all laid out still, so we could get to painting. Because again, the plan was, because it had to seal for like a couple hours, like not seal, cure.
Yeah.
For a couple hours before we could even move them. So the idea was get them down there, get them cured, because Wesley was coming up, because he was bringing his trailer. The idea was get them all painted so we could get them on there and get them down to the field and get it built. And now I had to disassemble everything. Obviously the walls could stay in one piece, but
it just added hours onto the whole process.
Wasted the whole day. And like the entire time I'm doing
and then broke my...
Yeah, a lot of tools got broken.
You broke my lawn sweeper when you tearing it apart.
Yeah, because one of the walls fell over onto it.
Which still ain't fixed.
I've been a little busy. But so yeah, I'm having to tear apart all these walls. And anyone's been to our field down by Camp Victory, all those big buildings, that's what they were talking about. There was 4 of them. All of those panels had to be disassembled by me, by myself. They're not light.
No.
They're not light.
We were trying to save some money by building them 2 panels wide. But man, did that make them heavy.
They were very heavy. And
now we just make 1 panel at a time.
Yeah.
And spend the extra $4 on the 2x4.
Yeah, so I'm tearing these things apart by myself. And fortunately, Sean came out to help eventually. But like at that point, I had gotten about 3/4 of it torn apart. And the whole time, I had called him cursing.
Yeah, my worst memory was having to hear about all of it.
Yeah.
Getting trauma here, re-listening to it.
And like, because at the time, he was a very core part of the team. I was afraid you were going to take his side on it. And I was like, I don't know if I can handle that. Because there had been other things along the way.
So like, ever since we got that place, Ghost had been changing.
Well, there was issues even back when we were at
Battlegrounds wasn't as bad, but
It
then
wasn't.
there was that year split too when we got rid of that, and then we were just hosting.
Well, there's
until we found this
that
one.
whole Huber thing was a mess too. Like that's definitely a bad memory. That's pretty up there
Yeah.
because it ruined the steam we had. But yeah, one of the dogs made it through.
Yeah, the little one.
But yeah, in that time there was definitely some things that were changing for him, and I was like in my mind like I'm still new to this team, not really, but like you and Ghost had gone back way longer, and I was like, he's not going to take my side on this, and this is too far. Like this is like we've literally just and not only that, but all the things he said up until you leaving, and like with the paint and everything like that, it was like I was just at a point of rage, and I was telling him like, this might be it. Like I'm just gonna turn my patch in, because if he's not gonna listen to reason, if he's not gonna listen to reason on how much time was wasted here, obviously that's not what happened. Clearly, clearly that's not what happened. I'm still here. But I was so angry that day with just the complete waste of time and stupidity, because he came back and he was like, oh, that's no big deal. And I'm like, it absolutely is a big deal. We just lost it a whole day.
Yeah, it was no big deal to him because like he only sleeps 2 hours a day, and then he's like basically worthless the rest of the day. He was out mowing my 5-acre yard with a push mower. Like what? Why?
While you had a ride-on for him to use.
Yeah, I had 2 0-turn mowers. Like, why waste your time? Whatever. You know?
Let's not go too far down that route.
Well,
But
I don't know if like things changed because like at some point he turned 50, or because he got involved in Twisted Tea. Like he was pounding those things back. I mean, he was also an alcoholic, so.
Well, yeah. So like that was absolutely
Things were coming to an end with him regardless, though, because even he was like creeping out Kim, one of the owners of the field. So it was just a matter of time.
Yeah, but in terms of like things I've dealt with since getting into airsoft, that was probably the worst thing. I mean, there's obviously little things. Being shot in the dick twice definitely was not fun, but everything else has been generally pretty good. So like when you have all these pretty good things, a lot of highs, and then you have this extreme low. It was like it stood out. It's obviously clearly still stands out. I get a little heated about it still. It was not a good day. Let's just put it that way. Not a good weekend, because I spent the whole weekend pissed about it. Like the whole.
I remember.
Because I think I texted Angie about it.
I was like, gosh dang it, there's always
I didn't want to bother you.
It's fine.
And I didn't really think about it at the time when I got
have
home.
done bothering Angie would have been.
I know. I don't know what I was. I know what I was thinking. I wasn't. I was just
mad.
fucking seeing red.
Yeah.
Pardon my language, but like I was not in a good place that day, and about that whole situation. And again, it was his idea to do this, and he completely ruined it. And his completely just laissez-faire about it made it worse for me. Like if we hadn't had a bunch of other team members there when he got back, I would have had a chat with him. Not a very friendly chat, but Thor was there. There was a couple other people. I don't remember who else was there, because Sean had left already because he had to go to church or work or something. I don't remember what. He came out and helped me for a couple hours, but he left. And Wesley was there. I remember Wesley being like, "Are you okay?" No, I'm not okay.
Yeah, because by the time he was there, you guys were supposed to be moving stuff out to the field.
Right. He was supposed to get there and help us just put it on the trailer and go.
And I remember when I got back, I was like, what the hell happened while I was gone? Like, there were screws missed. There were
some of the walls that got built after I
painted.
left were not good.
Yeah, so like spent like 3 more hours on those when I got home.
You were still finding misplaced screws when they were on the field. Because I remember when we were putting those walls up, we were moving screws over.
Yeah, because like we had to put like so many screws in it because I was worried that somebody was going to run right through, you know, or whatever. And then like some of the screws weren't even screwed into the 2x4.
Yeah,
they're just straight out. And I was like, someone's going to accidentally put their hand on there.
Every single one of those walls as we were putting them up.
Yeah,
to make sure. I remember that because I was there for that one.
Yeah, it was insane.
Because that was like a week or two later when we finally got to take the walls down there to actually build the structures. And that was supposed to happen in one weekend, and it didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was just hoping at a minimum they were put together. And
they were kind of.
Yeah. And I needed an extra 3 hours.
Yeah.
What was your worst memory?
Nothing like that, unfortunately, or fortunately.
Fortunately.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like events and stuff working out on the field, I never really had too much of that of an issue. Really, probably the worst memory is I think most of our worst memory that's been around long enough for it, which was the whole Huber Field, and
that was a kick in the pants.
Fighting the uphill battle with the city council, and but in the same token, I can't really entirely say it's my worst memory, because as much as it was kind of a shitty situation, like the entire team showed up.
Yeah,
like everybody was there, everybody stood up, and either supported or talked directly, or
even some of our community showed up.
And, we had a lot of people.
We had so many people from the community show up, and it backed even more of the reason, I think, as to why
we joined.
And why we were doing this. To the point where I know there was points and times where it was thought about after the Huber Field, like maybe we won't do this anymore. We'll just go as a team and go do stuff and not worry about the field stuff so much. But honestly, I think getting Hidden Valley Ranch.
Yeah, but that one just kind of fell in our lap.
Yeah, I think.
Because otherwise, I was thinking like we would just be an event host,
right?
Yeah. If we wanted to go down that route.
But it really kind of brought back something that was missing when we were just kind of the fieldless team for the little bit there, as far as something to come together and work on and do, and
Yeah.
kept us moving.
Yeah, I mean that, because that was the beginning of 2022. It was winter. It was cold. Was it the end?
And I think it was like the end of 21 to the end of 22 or something.
No,
Because
it's
I
like-
only owned that field for like that piece of property for like a year and 4 months, 3 months or
I
something.
was gonna say, it was like it felt to me like it ruined the whole year, because like it was a major defeat, obviously, losing that, because we had a lot of ideas, a lot of plans for that field, a lot of plans.
Yeah, and I felt like it would have been like the perfect size because it was only a 20-acre area.
Yeah, it was not
Yeah.
nearly as much space.
Could have
Obviously,
had a 10-acre spot to play in, just like a Devil's Playground. if
yeah,
you
it was a
guys
step
remember
up,
being there.
obviously, from Battleground. I mean, obviously we wouldn't have had the buildings, but we would have had a lot less space to cram a lot more into to make it much more dynamic.
Well, and owning the field too really kind of
Would have been a big thing.
changed our
Dynamic.
dynamic in terms of what we could do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so it was a major defeat, because we were going into all these hearings with like, they got to see the vision that we got, because we've got this big vision. We were all hyped about it. Everyone that was on the team
I
was
drew
like,
up a 3D model in Unreal Engine.
yeah, it
to
was
show
huge.
them
We had
stuff.
all kinds of stuff. It was like, it was a big thing. And then
And
for
most
us,
of what they were worried about was whether or not a BB could fly over 100-foot wall 1,000 yards away.
or that
Into
the
the highway.
biodegradable paint was going to be dangerous. Like, I know this was talked about during Lucas's podcast,
Yeah.
like the paint, but like,
Well, so I don't think that the county people were all that worried about that.
It was
They
the
saw all the
neighbors.
chaos and stuff.
Yeah.
Probably the neighbors were the
It was the
biggest.
neighbors.
thing.
it was the neighbors, really.
They
Yeah.
didn't want to deal with all the complaints.
Well, they
and
hunted
stuff.
on that land, so they
Yeah.
wanted that land to continue to be able to
They
go
didn't
on.
Yeah, they
And
didn't want to
I think
actually
that was
shoot
the
a little
biggest.
kid.
I
I
think
forgot
was the
about that.
big-
Yeah, I brought that up. Like, you're worried about
A BB going into the highway.
our stuff being
But you're
loud, but you're shooting a rifle, which is louder than anything around.
Well, not
Yeah.
that, but like a BB, when it gets to the highway, is going to be deflected just by the airflow, not a bullet.
Yeah.
If you're worried about that,
and we
a
were
bullet's
gonna-
going to do way more damage.
We were gonna put up like a 50 or 25-foot fence along there, so like even if you had shot up and over that, like it would have never made it to
No,
the
it
highway.
wouldn't have. It was a
wouldn't have.
stupid excuse. But like, again, so like, that was a pretty nasty memory too. Like, to be honest, that's probably more like number 2 than it being shot in the dick being number 3. But yeah, because that really set the tone for me for like that whole next year. It was a struggle for me at first to get down to the new field, because I was just like well, no, not down to the new field, down to Parker's, because I was defeated still. I was still in the mindset of like, Huber is supposed to be where we're at, not down here. One, Parker's was a long drive away, but
it was,
like,
but man, that was a good time. And
was.
They have a good field.
yeah,
well,
and
I'm thinking of when he got stuck. His truck got stuck.
the one time.
And
He
a
always
Ford-
brings that up to
I
you.
do.
The one time.
Big boy truck getting stuck in the mud.
Well, it's all clay.
It was,
Yeah,
yeah. I
you know?
mean, it is
I mean,
the
you're
fence.
damn near
It
trying to
rained.
drive over a riverbed.
Yeah, because it had been raining. The river was way up, and then we're out
Yep.
there with like 2 or 3 trucks and in the mud.
Not to go off on a tangent, but that was the time when we went camping where we got to what we'd say stay at the Four Seasons, because it was sunny, it rained, it snowed, and
Well, I wasn't there for that.
yeah, you weren't there.
No,
for
that was when you first met Wesley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
We
missed
made
that
breakfast in the morning, and made fried bologna sandwiches that night. That was a good time. My first time having a fried bologna sandwich.
one. No, I missed that one.
Yep.
But again, that was part of it. I was just very defeated.
You
Because
missed
of-
Aaron snoring too. That was he was blowing the walls out. Just here.
It's much better now.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I
like
got
in
I got
Bristol-
nasal strips and stuff.
In
So.
Bristol, like when it was Lucas and him in the.
Oh my
It was
God.
Lucas and him in Austin in that
one tent.
in that one tent, and all of us were like, "Austin's not getting any sleep tonight."
Oh man.
Yeah,
It's hard to really dwell too much on the bad times.
when there's
just
so many
'cause
good times.
There's
Yeah, the good times definitely outweigh.
Like I said,
bad.
it was harder
which is
for
weird
me.
because usually it's the other way
opposite
around.
Yeah, it was harder for me to make a decision on good memories versus the bad memories, because I've had a couple, but like, yes, there's a couple the spotlights on the bad ones were pretty massive versus the good ones. There's so many of them. Who really wins on how good of a memory was? Obviously, we do. Yes. But I mean, like, in terms of like which memory wins over which in terms of best memory, because there's so many things we do together. It's just a great time.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff that we've done over the past 5 to 7 years, and like the traveling, going out and find the places to eat,
eating at strange places,
checking out different fields, and
not letting Marmar into
hell,
hotel
even
rooms.
just the convoys of going places, was a lot of fun.
We'll talk about that one later.
we bought those magnets to put on the sides. So we could.
Those were really cool. Or your trip the other way around the mountain.
Talking about during Lucas's,
because you guys took the highway, and I was like, well, how boring was that?
It was compared to hearing the story afterwards.
We didn't burn up any brakes. We didn't almost run out of gas.
I was sweating bullets at the end. I was like, God, I hope this is a gas station at the bottom of this hill.
I remember Ghost posting the video. Yep. We were driving down the highway, and I'm watching the video, and I'm like, oh my God, there may not be a G2 by the time this day ends.
Dude, and some of them roads were washed out and falling apart, and I was like, oh my God, and I gotta fit a truck and trailer through this? Oh, and then we had a car come from one direction, and I was like, there's only room for one of us.
Someone's gonna have to back up.
And this is exactly what I mean. Like, it's so hard to stay focused on the worst, even the worst airsoft or whatever experiences, just because it's so far outshadowed by everything else.
We especially when you get any number of us together, it quickly devolves into just us reverting back to being grown children and just having a good time. Real quickly.
Before we get to the next one, we forgot to mention how you guys got your call signs.
I started, so you get to start on how you got yours. I'll add in.
I'm sure you will.
Steve, a.k.a. Merge.
Well.
We're going to do a chicken wing on this, or?
No.
We're just going to add this in? Okay.
Yeah, we're going to add this thing, because we skipped over that in the first one.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, we would, this was the convoy to Georgia.
Yep.
Where we had the magnets and all that we were just talking about. Well, I was the back of the line, and my job was to make sure that I was over so that everybody else could merge over. And
so when we'd have to
go, we'd have to do a lane change.
When we'd change lanes, the rear person would be the first one over, so it would clear out a path for the rest of us to get over. Because we'd be 5, 6, 7 vehicles.
Well, that one was especially long because it was
super long for that.
SWAT was with us.
Yeah.
And a couple other people.
And there was a couple other people, and then there was 2 vehicles just for G2 members.
Yep. Not including him and his trailer.
Yeah, because it was you, me,
and Chase. And then Blooper in his clown car.
Whoever had that black car that was driving down, he never would fill up when we'd stop at a gas station.
No. He wasn't part of the team. He was just someone following us.
I thought I'd have enough. You fill up every freaking time.
The rules of a road trip: when you stop at a gas station, you fill up and you go to the bathroom.
Yes.
Well,
we're trying to make it 12 hours to get down there. Or it was 10 hours.
Well, it was my job to merge first, and I would. When Darren would say to merge, I would merge over. I may or may not have checked my mirrors several times.
If there are people there.
And almost merged a few people out of the lane.
Out of their lives.
But in my defense, I've never hit anybody. I've never been in an accident, and I haven't totaled multiple vehicles. So...
Yeah, he didn't drop the water bottle.
No,
I didn't drop the water bottle.
So obviously, Pickle Rick, how did you get your call sign?
Because somebody in his infinite wisdom and complete originality decided that his name is Rick. You know what's? This was when that whole show was real big. I think the Pickle Rick episode had
Rick and
just
Morty.
come out. And it was like we were just joining. We were still prospecting.
Yep.
Yeah, we were definitely still prospecting, and it was like we were trying to figure out. We still didn't have call signs outside of Stevie Rick and Ricky Steve because Marmar couldn't tell us apart. And I don't know how.
One of us had a beard, and you can see the difference. But
when you got this on,
Yeah,
the
I
way
was
we
gonna
had
say, when you have our helmets and our masks on,
You couldn't tell who we were.
because they're all relatively the same.
Yeah.
It was difficult to.
It's difficult to tell. When we were all kitted up, it was harder to tell. Not really. It's just Marmar.
It's just Marmar.
But yeah, someone in his infinite wisdom and originality.
I told Marmar. I said, "Yeah, he should
No,
be picked."
it wasn't. It was
Was
him.
it Darren?
Because we were.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
when we were.
Well, I mean, you
Doing
gotta
the-
admit, Pickle Rick is like,
It's perfect,
it's
not.
especially
you
just
can't
with his
beat it.
demeanor.
It's not.
His
It really isn't.
you don't have Pit Boy on your watch.
I do. Took me. I didn't even get my watch finished setting up. I already had it installed. I was in the process of doing the setup. I'm like, I wonder. There is.
I
That
just
would've
happened to
been a
catch the
great-
guy on it.
Would have been a great call sign to Fallout for when the walls fall out. Wisconsin.
See, if you would have had that on your
We
watch,
never
you
actually
could have been
finished telling
call
that
sign
story.
Pit Boy.
We'll come back to that though. Say what?
If you would have had that on your watch back then, you probably could have been call sign Pit Boy or something.
Yeah, maybe Fallout or I don't know. Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't really wear watches until recently, but yeah, and I still like because the whole story goes. We were trying to get our walkies programmed. That's why it was him.
Yeah.
He was programming our walkies, and I don't even. It was Fry because of your
Yeah.
original call sign, and yeah. Well, you had already stuck me. You didn't have a call sign back then.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
What was it?
The Fry one.
No, because the Fry one didn't. The Fry one was my revenge for Pickle Rick.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, I don't remember one before that.
I didn't have one before that.
may not
You were
have.
the first one out of the two of us to get it because Pickle Rick was just
Yeah,
so
it was
easy.
just like boom, there
Yeah.
you go, and I was like, I wonder earn one.
Someone earned it for you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And it is stuck through every single time he has tried to change his call sign.
the only other person who's kept their call sign the whole time outside of Blooper is me, and it's
Yep.
because I just can't get rid of it. I hate it.
That isn't that the point though? You're not supposed to like your call
Not
sign.
necessarily.
Well, you earn them.
Yeah, not necessarily. I mean,
But
yeah,
yeah.
if you don't like it, usually it's harder to get rid of. But I've tried, like,
That's
I've tried to
It's
change
better
it.
than absent.
AWOL, absent, missing in action, Mia. I mean, like,
Yeah, you did have that for a little bit.
very short period of time. It's
Yeah.
a joke. But like, at least I never tried to do like what Marmar did. Like, Marmar, did you guys talk about what his actual call sign was
Yeah.
on his Marsha?
Yeah, I made him tell
Yeah.
it.
Like, at least I've stuck with Pickle Rick versus trying to change it. Like,
Well,
I
mean,
jokingly
there
made a
is
joke.
no way you can change that.
Yeah, I can. My name is Rick. My call sign's Pickle. That's Pickle Rick. And if someone asks, why is it Pickle? I'm like, you know, it's all
yeah.
bumpy and green.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you'd have to change your first name in order
Yeah.
in order to get a different name.
Maybe one day I will finally do something astronomically stupid enough to finally kick the name, but I haven't done it yet.
What's his name? Rekit.
Not that bad.
All right. Let's go ahead and go on to number 4 here. So we're gonna need the new sauce.
New
You
sauce.
guys are absolutely gonna love this stuff.
I hope so. It looks good.
It is. Wait till you open and smell it.
I can't smell shit right now.
Should we be sharing anything to him? He may
No,
have
that's
the-
just allergies.
He might have the Rona. His kid hasn't been out since Rona, so
That's not true. It hasn't been out since Georgia though. That was
smells good.
over a year old.
Any accomplishments and or roadblocks from returning you guys mentioned that you wanted to talk about?